That's the only thing I could never understand, bro. It's just like, come on now. I know you're up at 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, knock it off.
We should be
1 o'clock in the morning. Who wants to play at 1 a.m. after they've been doing schoolwork and at work all day, though?
The same people that want to play when they get off of work.
But your mind is already spent. You're not at your best.
That's the perfect time to attack your opponent. Attack.
Wow, that doesn't make any sense. Why he wouldn't be the one? He'd be the one in that predicament, not the other way around.
No, Gilbert would have had his face in a book all day. Josh would have been looking around. Okay, this is the play I'm gonna run. It's the play I'm gonna run. It would have.
That's the thing. Well, because Gilbert would be. What is he doing? Like calculus? Is that what he's doing, DJ?
Something like that.
That's what he said. I mean, he could have just been pulling up an encyclopedia, calculus, whatever. I don't really know.
He'd be stressing about it too.
I would too.
Yeah, I fucking hate math. Once like letters got introduced to it, I was like, I'm done with this shit.
In some of these letters.
All right, we'll just we'll start it up right now. What's going on, piglets? It's your boy Taylor B, and I'm joined by my curious co-hosts Daniel and DJ. Welcome to another installment of Culture by the Uncultured. And before we go any further, be sure to click that follow or subscribe button. Do it right now. Before we go any further, for real, click that shit right now. And remember, Culture by the Uncultured is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Culture by the Uncultured. It's another week, guys. How y'all living? Y'all living good? Y'all living bad? What's going on? Y'all greasy out here? What's going on?
Shit, man.
I've been so scared the last 2 days. I'm not even gonna lie.
so scared.
Because I've been looking up this whole second wave of corona and all that, and then I've been getting this like little back pain in my back, and then like, oh, that's one of the symptoms, and I'm like, and I was just like, no, not me.
No.
And then so one night I couldn't even sleep, and I was just like, oh no, this is it. This is like the first sign. My back is still hurting, so but I found it though. I just had to like massage this one area in my neck. Shout out to reflexology, man. It saved my life right now.
Yeah, not a lot of people are talking about secretly the second wave. It's not really truly a second wave yet, but there are some places that are peaking with coronavirus as of recently. I know, obviously, with the things that are going on in our society and with all the protests still going on, it's kind of getting cut to the wayside. News is focusing on all this stuff that's going on, either whether it's good news or bad news or them trying to be anti against the protest or whatever. Coronavirus is still coming out and it's still here. It's still doing its job. It's still doing what it's supposed to do. And people are forgetting about it, which kind of sucks because that means we're going to get a lot more people sick.
I don't think that they're forgetting about it. A lot of people just stop caring. And it's just like, because what I've noticed, a lot of people, like if it's not happening to you or somebody you know, like you automatically think it's fake. And I'm the conspiracy guy, and I'm kind of thinking like, well, I'm not going to no crowds. I've been invited to go to like 4-piece rallies, and I'm like, no, it's a corona trap. I'm not going.
It's a corona trap. Oh my Lord.
I'm not going. I don't have my limes. It's not happening. I'm not.
Yeah.
But I don't have my what the oh my gosh.
But yeah, it's a bunch of spikes here, Texas, Florida, and all that. It's just the more we open up, the more people are gonna get sick, unfortunately. And it's the silent death. It's like you can't tell who's got it or who's gonna give it to you.
You know, I went to a bar not too long ago, like a week ago or so, and the interesting thing was that nobody had on masks, and it's funny because like, obviously people are drinking and like eating and stuff, so it's like you can't really wear a mask. And I even thought about that when I was like, we don't got to wear a mask in here, and everybody's like, nah. But the waiters and the waitresses, they were wearing masks though.
Yeah,
that makes zero sense, bro. Like just the simple fact of you expecting drunk people to remember to wear a mask in the first place is ridiculous. It's not happening.
And then you got someone that's gonna throw up in their mask. Oh man,
yeah, it's crazy, man. Especially like, I don't really understand the reasoning behind like opening but still kind of being worried about it. Then it's like you might as well just stay closed. But I mean, I guess if America for the most part is pretty much money hungry, so as a business owner I kind of get it. Like you need to get out there and get this money because that those bills, that rent, the lease for the the area that they're occupying or whatever. None of that shit is stopping. So might as well go ahead and get that money. I know a lot more restaurants are opening up too for people to be able to sit down. I know like right now I think there's like still a lot of social distancing going on. So like people are kind of trying to like leave room in between tables and things like that. It's interesting because when everything kind of opened back up, I pretty much expected like traffic to return to normal pretty much right away, and that hasn't been the case either. It's been traffic's still been pretty light, and I mean I'm driving all the way out to Boulevard. It's like a freaking hour away, and I'm not really running into anything unless there's like construction on the highway or something, which there's always that, but other than that, it's like it's pretty smooth sailing as far as the drive is concerned. And places that I've gone to is still like, even though the places are open, there's not like a super crowded areas that I've been to or anything like that, markets or anything that I've been to. At least it hasn't been super crowded, but I'm sure sometime here soon they're going to be like, oh, it's done, or probably by the time the vaccine comes out, then everybody's going to be outside, and I'm sure the more businesses that open up, more people are going to go outside because they're going to be returning to work, so they got to get back on the highway, they got to get in their cars, they got to show up to the place of business or whatever, and things will become more populated here shortly. But it was good while it lasted, huh?
Yeah, last Friday they just opened up everything. Well, not everything, but the third phase of us opening up out here in California. And so I'm expecting them to be traffic. Thanks for jinxing it without knocking on wood. My gym's getting ready to open up, and I'm still kind of nervous about going up in there. I think I'm gonna have to make my intervals. I'm gonna be there for 30 minutes. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna come back an hour later, 30 minutes, just to make sure I'm safe.
David said that at the 24-hour fitness, they're doing like 30-minute signing up for 30-minute sessions or something like that. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like even being in like I know some gyms I hear are like doing like 30% capacity or something, which is just like insane, I guess, because gyms are so kind of like are a cesspool for like disease, I feel like, or like just germ spreading, because everybody in there is more than likely sweating, and like half the people that are in the gym don't even wipe down the equipment. I don't know what that's about, but I mean, you wipe down your equipment, folks. Please do that. That shit is nasty.
The gym included.
Yeah. There's a kind of a lot, I guess, to cover, but let's start first and foremost with some pretty good news to kind of like get away from all the sad shit that we've been kind of dealing with. PS5 reveal, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it is official. It is legit. We have seen the official look of the PS5 and those ugly ass controllers and that ugly ass console. I mean, I think the best looking console probably was the PS4. It looked good right off the jump, but the PS5 just ain't really hitting like that in my opinion. But I'm sure they're going to come up with another design to keep the price at whatever it's at. What is it, like $700 or something like that?
I didn't want to look just because
it's expensive. It ain't cheap at all.
No, man, it's ridiculous these prices, but especially when you got the thing looking like something out of the Jetsons. The thing is real stupid looking to me, but I'm gonna still buy it. I'm gonna still cop it. I'm not gonna lie about that, but it definitely. But the Xbox design definitely looks a lot better than PS5.
Well, I keep on seeing these things where people say, "Are you gonna get the mini fridge? Or are you gonna get the Wi-Fi router?" It's basically what you're getting with either the Series X or the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, for real. I saw a meme where they put the PS5 on top of Cell's head, and they it was just it just looks so goofy. Like people put like two pieces of paper next to a Wi-Fi router, and then it just I got that PS5 early release, and it's just like it's just I don't know who was in charge of the design, but somebody should have been like, no.
But I mean, low key, they both ugly because that Xbox One looks like that first thing they pulled the Tesseract out of in the first Avengers movie. That's it.
It looks like a damn like a computer. What is it called? Like the whole motherboard and shit. Not the motherboard, but the
CPU.
The CPU, yeah.
Yeah.
Big and clunky and shit, man.
It looks like a double CPU or something. Like it's big. It's like super wide. I don't know why. It's not as tall as the PS5, but it's way wider than the PS5.
Yeah, that makes me wonder. That makes me wonder how tall these consoles really are. Because I thought the Xbox Series X was gonna look big because it looks like a damn mini fridge, but the PS5's taller. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's taller, and like the PS4 and Xbox One are both smaller than both those consoles. I mean, the specs on it, I'm guessing, make it have like obviously you probably need more room to be able to hold more stuff. I mean, that's probably why the PS2 is bigger than the PS1 and PS3 is bigger than PS2 and so on and so forth for those reasonings alone. But
to have it that size and still not be a terabyte,
that's crazy to me.
What the
I don't
heck
know
is
what that's
going
about.
on?
Why waste our time with 825 gigs knowing damn well everybody's going to get Call of Duty or one game that's going to keep updating every fucking couple weeks, and then they're going to be like, oh, 200 gigabytes, and it's like, oh, dang, like almost half my memory gone already, let alone like the 50 or 100 gigabytes that are not gigabytes, but like the 100 gigabytes that are randomly just you can't use it or whatever, I can't download something else because even though it says I have the space, I don't really have the space for it. Like, I don't know what the thought process is behind that, but come on, give us a terabyte, yo. Just give us the tera, and we'll call it a day.
Well, they got to be able to make their money somehow, and that's what they're gonna do. Like all that stuff that they showed, like all the extra accessories, the charging ports, and the sleek new design of the headphones. That's all looking fancy and shit, but we ain't gonna get that. That's all gonna be, oh, you want to get that, you got to pay extra. You want to get that terabyte, you got to pay extra. But one good thing, though, speaking of Call of Duty, is that they are talking. Their last update actually lowered the amount of active memory on the game itself. So Infinity Ward already said that hey, look, we know we got these big ass updates, so they're making them smaller, and they're archiving a lot of the old data and making it smaller, basically being more efficient with the memory. So you're still getting the same amount of stuff, just in a smaller update. It's still going to be like 75 gigs, but it's not going to be 100, 200 gigabytes like how it usually is.
So I might actually be able to get Call of Duty again and enjoy it.
Oh man. And with that being said, too, season 4 just started too. I know you out there with the guns already, DJ. I played like one match today and got my dick smoked off, but I mean it is what it is.
Well, yeah, man, you keep on wanting to play these other games, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm always gonna play a game that I'm gonna play with my friends, as opposed to playing a game by myself. But bro, that vector is the sauce. It's good.
I bet. I mean, when I get it, I'll probably be excited to use it, but I mean, it's going to be a second, obviously, unless we just decide to play Call of Duty someday. But you know what our kick is right now. Moving on with that gaming news, though, there was a couple titles that were revealed. There's a sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn coming out. A new title by, I think, Square Enix is coming out. They got a new Ratchet and Clank video game coming out, which is, I don't know if y'all are aware of this, but Ratchet and Clank has been my shit for quite some time. Like, out of all those kinds of games, like Spyro, what else is there? Jack and Daxter, freaking the Sly Cooper, whatever you have.
Parappa the Rapper?
No. But Ratchet and Clank that's been my favorite franchise out of all of them. They're always super fun. My favorite thing about that game is I love the evolving weapons. I don't know why. It's just really entertaining to me. Watching the weapons grow and become stronger and do more damage and do more fancy things. You know what I mean? Like it's always super cool to me, especially just because it's not just your basic weapons. You have like armor upgrades and like your wrench can get upgraded and stuff. And it's just creative, the magnetic boots and you walk upside down and stuff, and you got to use Clank to do certain things. You get to actually beat him at certain missions and stuff like that. There's like a giant mode I know that they introduced a couple of games back where Clank gets all big and Ratchet goes on his back instead, and stuff like that. And it's just entertaining. I mean, I know it's I guess mainly made for kids. It's a fun game that kind of can kill time, and it's like cool little story. And also Resident Evil 8. I know we're excited about that. I mean, I didn't play Resident Evil 7 personally, or Resident Evil Biohazard, I should say, but I watched the whole game get played by Dashi XP. Shout out to Dashi XP. That game looked super awesome. The only thing I didn't like about it is that it was I've been playing Resident Evil for a while. I'm sure you have too, right, DJ?
Yeah, I've been playing since Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, I only started playing Resident Evil like myself instead of watching it since like Resident Evil 4. I beat that game in its entirety. It was cool. It was fun. I hated Ashley because she doesn't do anything in the game. She just kind of gets in the way. Resident Evil 5. I remember playing that game and thinking this is a tad bit too easy because if you're playing by yourself, you have your computer partner, you can pretty much just spoon feed them the best weapon and they pretty much have unlimited ammo. So they'll just keep shooting until the enemy's dead. And like, as soon as you get a magnum, oh, here you go, partner. And then bam, 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 bam. And it's, big boss enemy or whatever, they're done or whatever, right? What else is there? And then, it just gets easy. And then like towards the end of the game, you're pretty much mainly dealing with one hitter quitter enemies. And it's just kind of like boring because it's like, it's just like the elements are just all messed up. Resident Evil 6, I didn't bother touching after I watched one or two, a couple of people play it. And then I was like, this looks super boring, super lame, corny as hell. I don't even want to try it. Resident Evil 7, it went back to its more horror-based roots, and it was entertaining to look at, but I didn't like that there wasn't any weapon customization, and just like the enemies were all pretty much super generic and the same. There wasn't really a variety of enemies. There wasn't really a variety of much. It was mainly just you in a house with a bunch of random swamp people dealing with a family, running around trying not to die, and then your girlfriend trying to kill you over and over again. And that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
But it looked like I said, from the horror aspect, it was entertaining. The story seemed pretty entertaining. Like the ending and like the bonus content, things like that. Chris Redfield was like the only character that I recognized in the entire game. And then now we're getting Resident Evil 8, and once again we are Ethan, who is the main character of Biohazard. So I mean, I guess he's out there fighting the good fight still. And Chris shows up at the end, just kind of gives a couple shots to somebody's dome, it looks like in the end. He says sorry, and then Ethan's like, man, Chris, what the heck, dude? Like, what you doing, fam? You tripping, you wilding out here. But he don't say it like that, but you get the point. But I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be definitely a hot item. I want to buy that game for sure, though. Like when it first comes out, first drops, bam, I want to be in there, get it, because I kind of regret not buying Resident Evil 7 and playing it myself, because I feel like that kind of takes away from the fear aspect of it, kind of watching somebody else play it versus experiencing it, and the anxiety and the tense moments and not knowing what to do and shit like that, like that stuff adds to like the excitement of the game. I like getting scared. You guys like getting scared?
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I mean, we play Dead by Daylight and we love that shit, so.
That's true. We haven't played that in a while, and I love that game. That's a fun game to just get your adrenaline pumping. Oh my god, he's right behind me. Oh my god, yeah, that's fun. I don't know what getting chased. There's something about getting chased, except by guys in white hoods. That's not so fun, but
Wow.
And then the last game that I cared at all to talk about is Spider-Man Miles Morales. Did you play Spider-Man, DJ?
I played the base story. I didn't play any of the extra expansions or anything like that.
Okay,
I played the base
same.
story.
Yeah.
I did not beat it myself just because I ran out of time and care for all that matter. It was a great game, but like I told you, I'm not really a single player kind of guy anymore unless it's Legend of Zelda. So for me, I really didn't finish it. I watched the whole story. I watched everything about it. So it's a good game. It's a great game, but I just didn't finish it myself.
It's probably one of the best Spider-Man games I ever played in my life. But what about you, Daniel? Did you play it?
I did not. I haven't played the last two games that you guys talked about. I never really got into Resident Evil, and then Dead by Daylight. I got interested in it, but then it was never enough to actually buy the game and all that. So nah.
I mean, it's like $13 right now. You can copy it.
but I just found out something. There was a May update for the PlayStation Store, and they have Star Wars: The Force Unleashed now.
So, yeah, it's the days of play, so it's like 50% off of like half the games on the store.
They got Battlefront 2 on sale for like super cheap too.
No, nobody care about that. The Force Unleashed though, 1 and 2. I'm about to.
Hey, Battlefront 2 apparently got a huge
revamp.
Revamp. It's supposed to be actually pretty good now.
Hitting hard now. I'm interested in playing it, but I just don't know anybody else that plays it except for like this guy I know. That's pretty much the only person I know that plays it. So I've never really have been like super interested in it. I know Hendo played it too, but I saw him play it like twice, like online, and then like he plays like Need for Speed or some shit like that now. I don't know. Anyways. But yeah, Spider-Man Miles Morales. I'm super excited about it. Where are my thoughts going? Okay, yeah, Spider-Man Miles Morales. It comes out. Hopefully, it's supposed to be like a PlayStation launch, so maybe like towards the end of the year, I guess. And there's a couple interesting things about it. First and foremost, a lot of people were led to believe that this was a direct sequel to the Spider-Man 2018 game that that was released, and it would have been a great follow-up. Obviously, interesting follow-up. The trailer was cool. I know we had talked a little bit, DJ, about the possibility that Peter Parker was going to die because that's like the original Miles Morales story, Ultimate Spider-Man. Like Peter Parker dies, so then Miles Morales takes over, and blah blah blah. And I thought that was like going to happen, but it doesn't. I don't think it might not happen. I can't tell if that's going to happen or not. I hope it doesn't, obviously, but I'm not really sure. Excuse me. But the thing that I thought was interesting was that they clarified and said that it is not like a direct sequel, but it is a direct expansion to the 2018 Spider-Man PS4 game, which is obviously weird because Spider-Man that came out in 2018 is on PS4, and the Miles Morales DLC or expansion is set to be released for PS5. The thing that is weird to me is I'm wondering if they're going to re-release Spider-Man for PS4 for PS5 and then make that the expansion to kind of give it like a slight update to the graphics to kind of match with that. I'm sure the game looked amazing already, so I'm sure they don't got to do much to it if they're going to do that at all. And then I'm also curious as to how big the expansion is going to be. Some people are also speculating that it's going to be about the same size as something like Uncharted Lost Legacy, or there was I can't remember what it's called, but it's what's the game where the guy he does the electricity? Infamous. There we go. Infamous. There was Infamous Second Son, which like was one of the early releases for PS4. And then there was like a side or spin-off game called Infamous, like Second or First Light or something like that, which is about one of the characters, this girl that's in the game. You can take her powers, and she has like the power of like neon lights, basically. And with the power, she can like run really fast. She can like kind of shoot this laser beam really far, like direct laser beam, and like she can shoot like lasers, I guess, from her hands. Is a fun game, an interesting game. Delsin is like the main character, is a Native American, which is actually, I thought that was actually really cool that it was a Native American was the main character for the game. But anyway, back to Miles Morales. So people are speculating that it's not going to be as big as the first Spider-Man game, but bigger than the DLCs that came out in the Spider-Man 2018 PS4 game, which would still be cool. Obviously, you're going to control Miles Morales for the majority, if not the whole game, versus being Peter Parker for the original Spider-Man 2018 PS4 game. Are you guys fans of Miles Morales at all, or no?
Well, it depends. Is Gambino voicing it, or?
Oh my god!
Wow.
He's most certainly not, because Miles. So that's the other thing, is Miles Morales is a character in the Spider-Man 2018 PS4 game. He starts off as somebody that I think Aunt May. He works in Aunt May, or he like helps out or goes to like Aunt May's like job or whatever. She does like a shelter program or something like that. And he does like community service or whatever. And at first, I think you help out Peter with something, or you like have to sneak to get somewhere or wwhatever. You do like little missions as like Mary Jane and Miles, like randomly. It's like there's one mission where you have to survive against the Rhino because you're like in like a little Connex yard, and the Rhino's like rampaging through there, and you have to kind of like sneak past guards and past Rhino and stuff. So it's kind of fun. But like halfway through the game, Miles gets bit by a spider, and then he realizes, like, he starts acting all funny. And then at the very end of the first Spider-Man game, like the original story, Peter shows Miles that they can both stick to walls or whatever, that they're both Spider-Man or whatever. And I haven't. It's terrible. I don't know why I have a habit of doing this. I have a habit of buying like the deluxe versions of games with all the DLC obviously that comes out, and then just never playing the DLC. So I have all three of the DLCs for the City That Never Sleeps, which is the 3 DLCs for the Spider-Man game, and I've never played any of them. And I know there's way more to the story, and it probably adds on a ton of content and costumes and whatnot. I definitely should go back into it. I just haven't yet. But, maybe sometime I'll do that soon with like, a stream or something. Maybe I'll get, I don't know, some kind of motivation to play that game again. But, we'll see. But it looks exciting, though. I'm excited for it. I can't wait to, to play Spider-Man, Black Spider-Man, #Logic.
Yeah. I personally think so. I wasn't really a huge fan of Miles Morales when he first came out.
Wow,
Uh,
because he's black.
no. So if you actually read the comic, if you read the comic for which he came out, they didn't flesh out his story well at all. It wasn't anything like we were used to with Peter, so it was kind of the story wasn't it was just lacking at first. But obviously they did a Marvel has since then done a reboot of his character. Um, Spider Verse came out, and my kids love that movie, especially my son. My son absolutely loves anything that has to do with Spider Man, so he loves that movie. So I got to see the new version of Miles that they've portrayed, and I think that they went in the right direction. Obviously, I saw him in the game, and I think that I like the idea. I definitely think that moving towards Miles is a good option for the game. But now that we've clarified that it's not going to be a direct sequel, but rather an expansion, it does provide a little bit more like because I know a lot of us are saying, "Oh, hey, fucking, I still want to get more time with Peter." Like we played
Yeah,
like yes, X amount of hours into that first game to play as Peter, but it's kind of like there's still more to flesh out, you know?
for sure. Um, I think that's about it as far as like important games. I don't know if you had any more details that you wanted to mention real quick.
So I know I sent you guys a whole slew of lists. I know obviously we talked about these other games, but there was also Forza, the new Forza that's going to come out. There's a lot of racing fans that really are into that. They did
Daniel, do you
announce,
play that? Because I know you like cars.
I do not play Forza. I was a Need for Speed guy. That really popped my cherry when it came to racing games was Need for
yeah,
Speed. And I never
but
cheated on it.
I never cheated on it. But we did see the new we saw the new trailer for the new Hitman. It's actually Hitman 3. I know they've been coming out with a lot of Hitman 2, Chapter 1, 4, 6, 8, all these new ones, but we're finally getting a new entry in the Hitman series. Um Other than that, I think that was really about it. Everything else I told you about was what we saw in the actual PlayStation 5 reveal itself. Oh, and 2K20 NBA 2K20 was uh was shown off during the whole event as well.
You know, I've never forgiven the Hitman franchise for that scene in the movie where like he's fighting other agents,
Yeah.
and then he hangs the black guy. I was like with a tie, like he like grabs his tie, like puts it over a beam and like pulls it, and it's just like he has just this like anger in him, and it's just like you're hanging a black man right now. This is wild as fuck.
And nobody batted an eye to it, huh?
Yeah, I was like, this is crazy. Like, what is happening right here? But whatever. Anyway, so I guess that's pretty much it for the gaming news. Um, we should just dive. Let's go into this Dave Chappelle special because I don't really feel like giving Takashi or Nicki Minaj my energy right now. So let's go into this Dave Chappelle special entitled 846. It's pretty much everywhere. It's all over Facebook. It's all over YouTube, and multiple channels. It was really I saw it through Netflix as a joke, which is like their channel for releasing like bits and pieces of their comedy specials or whatever. And I know it's on Netflix, and it's like it's less than 30 minutes. It's like 27 minutes and a couple seconds or whatever. It is probably one of the most profound pieces of content that I've seen in my entire life. I don't know that I've seen anything else like that is not I mean it's not I don't think it's fully scripted, but I don't think I've ever seen a piece of content that is quote unquote scripted that spoke louder than that in my entire life. All the movies like from back in the day, think pieces or whatever. It's like I think that honestly, as far as like scripted anything goes, that was probably the most profound piece of content that I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. And there was a lot of people that like kind of when they saw Dave Chappelle walk on stage, there's going to be some people that are going to think, okay, it's going to be a comedy set. This might be something that he's just going to talk about, make fun or be controversial on the things that are going on today. But it was just a real raw telling of what's going on today. Like it's not, it wasn't really like, yes, it was just him, his notes, a couple cigarettes, and him being real. And it was
Yeah.
different from what we're usually used to seeing like comedians or other actors or any other person in that sort of situation do. So I think it was a really good way to basically cover basically what's been going on for the last 6 months in majority for 2020, but as well as just what's been going on that people just seem to be pushing to the side.
Yeah, he's got that. He definitely got that Daniel cape on for that. I know he's a conspiracy guy, so when he says things, I tend to listen to him because I know that, some of the things that he believes in, and it scares me because he's a powerful guy too in his own right. As far as like comedies is concerned and stuff, he's very well respected. I don't know that he's the highest paid or anything, but he's definitely well respected, and he's definitely earned his place in history and his celebrity, all that, and this, that, and the third. But his ability to kind of relate to the everyday person and understand things that are going on in society, and then make it all make sense when he talks about these kinds of things that wrap into like a conspiracy thing. Like when he brought up Chris Dorner, I had not heard that name since that incident happened. When he first brought that up, I immediately somehow knew exactly who the fuck he was talking about. I don't know how. He said that name, and like I said, I have not heard that name since the incident happened, and I immediately recognized that name, and it kind of just struck a chord with me. And then he started talking about how, then we protest and riot, and then and then another black dude or whatever, manifesto kills cops or whatever. They start killing cops again, and then it's back and forth, and it's like, why. He said, there's a part he said, why 400 cops were out there or whatever, and that they were so angry, and then they like Swiss cheesed him, they just shot him up or whatever. I didn't even know that's what happened. I thought he like burned to death in a fire, because I'm pretty sure that the place caught on fire, if I remember correctly. But he said because they were angry because they killed one of their own. And then he was like, that's the streets. Like the streets are replying, the same way. You killed one of our own, so they're angry, they're mad at you, and that was so powerful, man. I've never been an advocate to say like really like to realistically say fuck the police or like any of that stuff. But now in today's society, I really do think that it's time for a change. I'm not saying that we don't need police at all, but we need to fix the system for sure. And just a little bit of reform or attempt at reform probably isn't going to be enough. I don't know what realistically should happen or can happen, but I know it ain't gonna happen with the people that are in these precincts right now. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I've been asked that question multiple times this week. I feel like I was the black spokesperson for a lot of people because I was the only black person they really were close with. So I've had a
Yes.
lot of people come and ask me like, "Oh, how do I feel about defunding the police and this and that with all this stuff going on?" And I was telling them, I was like, I definitely don't believe in the people policing anything because we've had our chance to police ourselves in our own communities, and the cops are still getting called anyway. So
Yeah.
I feel like we're not. That's not going to be a good idea. But what I did say is my idea was to go ahead and the same way when you get a new coach in a team, they they let go of everybody from the top down, and they bring in their own people. So I was thinking,
Yeah.
especially in areas where it's been systemic, like in Minneapolis, because that wasn't the first time this happened out in Minneapolis. So I was saying they should just go ahead and tear that plane down from the top all the way down to the bottom, bring in fresh new people, bring in some people from the actual community, that are going through that want to be cops and this and that have taken the necessary classes or anything like that, and actually bring them in so they can help care for the community instead of just police the community.
Yeah. I think that that's a great idea. And I believe I'm not mistaken, like there's like city government has talked about dismantling the police. So I don't know what's gonna happen. A lot of people are laughing at the notion, and some people believe that, I think they're taking steps to like try to look for like community policing basically, or something along the lines that you were just talking about. It's definitely a slippery slope, and I don't necessarily agree with community policing either, like, or like leaving it in their hands. I know in like San Francisco, they're doing like a thing now where they're trying to make it so that police don't have to respond to nonviolent crimes. So that like, you can send like healthcare workers or healthcare professionals to people who maybe have mental illness or something, or some like, people kind of acting out or something, versus like just, a violent crime like an assault or a robbery or something like that, um, there's a lot that needs to be done, and I don't think anybody has like the right answers except for people who are like constantly thinking about this and or have like a real just idea, because like kind of like you said, like getting a new coach and all that stuff, taking it from the head, like the top down, and then it's like that I think is necessary. I think we will need new people that are willing and able to help police the community. Hopefully this can also be a wake-up call just for policing our own, so that we don't have to let cops deal with us. Let your friends, your neighbors, your family members know, like, you ain't living right, you need to start living right, because we're tired of having to deal with these folks. You know what I mean? But even with that being the thing, or that being an issue or whatever, it kind of just comes down to kind of like bullshit calls, kind of like and this might tie in kind of well, we'll see how this works out. But I don't know if you guys heard about the recent case with Rayshawn Brooks. He was murdered by police in Atlanta, Georgia, like 2 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. It's an interesting case because it's very different from George Floyd in the fact that he resisted arrest. He was seemingly going to jail already. He resisted arrest. He fought with the cops. He fired a taser at the cops. He was shot in his back while he was running away. I can dive a little bit further. I still, and I'm going to, say this here and right now, I do not believe he should have been shot at. I don't believe he should have been shot with lethal force whatsoever. Should he be in jail right now? Yes. He should be alive, though. That's the biggest thing. He should be alive, in jail or in prison, whatever you want to call it. He would have more charges. You would have had plenty on him had you not killed him. But instead, you killed him, and the police officer's name is Garrett Rolfe, or I'm going to assume ex-cop, because I believe he was fired. I don't think any charges, he hasn't been arrested. I don't think any charges have been filed against him. It's one of those things, though, where it's kind of like everybody reacts differently, and it's unfortunate that it came to that, but that would have been probably simply solved had somebody else maybe gone to the guy's car, had the community tried to police their own, or had, in this case, kind of like with San Francisco, maybe somebody else was sent out there versus, he's not doing anything harmful. He's in his car. He's asleep. Hell, you could have sent out freaking EMTs if you thought he was like injured or something. For like if somebody goes into a car and something bad happens. I'm gonna give this an example because this kind of happened on our job, Daniel. I'm not gonna give any names, but a gentleman passed out in the middle of an intersection, and firefighters came by, and most firefighters are trained EMTs, so they were trying to wake him up. Like, he was unconscious, and they busted out the windows and they got him out, and he woke up. He was kind of like he was passed out or whatever. And in that situation, if you're scared for somebody like that, then yes, call, ambulance or whatever. You don't need it. Why do you need the police there? It doesn't really make sense. And in the video before he was murdered, Richard was he was definitely intoxicated for sure. He claimed to have about 1.5 drinks or something like that. He said a margarita, then he said he didn't really remember what the drinks were. He was hit, I guess him and his girlfriend got into an argument or something like that. He wanted to go get food, but he wanted to pull over. I didn't really see why the cop wanted to arrest him. They already got him out of the car. It was parked. Courtesy rides. It always kind of turns into like a fiasco at some point when the cops got to get aggressive or something, like that. Like, I've never really, and that's kind of why I didn't really enjoy that about it. That's not who I am. I don't want to have to get aggressive with somebody, If I can kind of calm somebody down or chill them the fuck out, get them where they need to go without them hurting anybody or hurting themselves, 10 times out of 10 times, I'd rather do that. I don't want people to get in trouble. I don't want to have to take them anywhere. I don't want to have to babysit somebody. I don't want to have to be the bad guy at all, If it has to go there because like somebody's life, limb, or eyesight is in trouble, oh, for sure, But if it's like something that's not serious and we can just kind of finish this and handle this without any unnecessary paperwork or unnecessary punishment or whatever, then let's just do that. These cops, obviously, that's not what they wanted to do, which was surprisingly, because like they did like a 180, like he basically said, yes, you're intoxicated, and like ran up to him and then like, turn around, grabbed him, turned him around, and then like started trying to put the handcuffs on him. And that's when it became an altercation. And it's like, he didn't tell him to, I'm gonna need you to turn around and face away from me, anything. He ran up to him and grabbed him, and it's just kind of like, bro, like that's the problem. It's like they don't want to talk, they don't want to do anything. Not that once again, like I said, not that he was in the right to resist arrest from the cops in that situation, but they're just tactful ways to go about things. And I feel like clearly our police force is not being trained in that way. Or if they are, they're picking and choosing when to do it. And I don't want to make this a race thing because it really could have happened to anybody. I just think that there needs to be a an entire overhaul of like the police force in most cases. But I mean, who am I? I'm just a random black dude with a podcast, you know?
Yeah, so it makes no sense to me. Like I believe we've had this conversation multiple times where I'm just sitting here like, why can't they just shoot somebody in the leg? Because you would have stopped old boy, and he'd still be alive. I mean, case closed. He's in jail. You're good to go. Everybody has their job still, because I believe the police chief resigned like as soon as this went down.
Yep.
Talk about fleeing the fire before it even starts. But yeah, that's something I can understand as a normal person. You guys would be able to more attest to why you can't do that, or if you can do that. But to me, that seems like the plausible solution. Hey, he's running away from us. He shot a taser at us. Just shoot him in the leg, shoot him in the butt. You know, he's gonna go down either way, but he still be breathing at the.
Well, the thing about a gun is it's a lethal force. You know, it's like you're not taking it out unless you're taking somebody's life or willing to take somebody's life. You know, most cops and military personnel, they're trained, you know, center mass. You know, that's just the thing. I suppose it is possible to train somebody to shoot lower, but I mean, as far as like targeting and stuff, I've never seen a target like that's full body. You know, like I've never seen a target that has legs on it. I've never shot a paper target or the little pop-up targets that have legs with them, you know. And so that's an interesting point. But I mean, like you said, like from a civilian standpoint, for sure, I could the civilian part of my brain kind of understands that, you know, why aren't they taught that, you know, try to disable versus try to take their life away versus, you know, oh, shoot center mass, make sure you just kill them off is basically what you're trying to do, you know. But it's just one of those things where you have to utilize your levels of force. You know what I mean? A lot of people are basically saying, I would hope that if you resisted arrest, you got shot at. And it's just like, well, I don't see how your brain can work like that. You know, I don't understand how you can say if you resist arrest or you fight back, or whatever, you deserve to die. That shouldn't, like, that thought process is baffling to me as like a human being. You know, I don't think anybody should die. Like I said before, absolutely his ass should be in jail because he did something stupid, play stupid games, win stupid prizes for sure. He shouldn't be dead though.
Yeah,
you know, he shouldn't be dead.
It's kind of like if you guys get in a fight. If you get in a fight with someone if you get in a fight with someone and they start fighting back and you pull out a gun, that's like you're kind of going overboard at that case. And I mean, to speak on what you were saying, Daniel, about like shooting in the legs, like Brandon said, we do get trained to shoot center mass. Um, However, you should never shoot at someone that's running away from you. You should never shoot someone in the back. That's just not what you should be doing in the first place. I mean, that's why a lot of these cops have tasers. That's why they have batons. Like, I'm pretty sure they get trained in a somewhat similar fashion to what our military does. In which case, there's
probably better.
Yeah, there's training that we receive that is about how to neutralize targets without having to pull out a gun. And granted, I know that in some cases, in some serious situations where someone might be afraid for their life, I understand. But I don't know. I don't know, man. I get trained on this stuff all the time, and like,
you know, I think what it would help too, in all honesty, would be like a civilian course or like something like in school, like having to be taught what police capabilities are as far as like levels of force, understanding them, because a lot of people like that, I like read comments that I read and whatever, a lot of them were saying, oh, he has a taser pointing at the cop's freaking head or whatever, and it's just like, bro, like, it, trust me when I say this, it is not that serious. Like, this guy he shot the taser while running. He shot it while running. He wasn't going to do nothing serious to anybody. One, he wasn't going to produce NMI for sure, because he just kind of like pointed it backwards and shot it, right? So that wasn't going to happen. And two, you've probably been tased with it before already if you've been hit with it. So if you get hit with one prong for sure, or let's say you get hit with two and they're both in the upper hemisphere, okay, you're going to ride the wave. It's going to hurt like a motherfucker for 5 seconds. Cool. And then, all right, fucking pull him in and fucking get his ass. Like, and your partner's there too. And he can do the same exact thing that he just did to you, to him. And probably better, because he probably knows how to do NMI. And most people don't know this, but okay, let me just break down a taser, how a taser gun, how it works for you or whatever, right? You take the cartridge and you put it on front of your taser, right? You usually leave it holstered or whatever. You shoot the weapon, right? 2 prongs come out of the taser. One comes out like straight forward, and another one drops low. It's because it has to hit the upper hemisphere and the lower hemisphere of your body. There's like a little prong or whatever, and it usually stabs into you, right? And when it does that, hopefully, quote unquote, it produces NMI, which is neuromuscular incapacitation, that is what locks people up. Getting hit with the taser does not lock you up. It hurts, sure, it hurts like a motherfucker. But NMI is what is used to incapacitate people. And it could easily be stopped by baggy clothing. So let's say like you get hit in the top in your shirt, it's like, it's kind of tight, but you're wearing some kind of baggier jeans or whatever, right? And then it just hits your jeans, it doesn't hit you. So you can still move your body easily, but you got that one prong. But police are trained, and or MPs at least are trained to, okay, I can see that the top prong is in, so let me run up to him and let me get pain compliance if maybe both prongs aren't in, or I can complete the circuit if I jam it into the other part of his body. If you can tell the bottom one's in, hit him in the top part with the gun, because with the gun part you can still tase with that part of the weapon. So, but you have to run it into him though. So you have to get up close and put it in him. Once again, like I said, he probably almost certainly doesn't know that. He's running away, firing a taser at you. You're fine. You're going to be okay. You could have just let him go. You had his car. You probably could just get the address off the license plate, and you'll be all right. Cool, bro. See you later, pal. We'll go to your house later and arrest you then. End of discussion.
It also comes to the point where I'm pretty sure it's something that I would like to believe that in the civilian sector or in police training that it's like you are supposed to answer to force with the same amount or lesser of force that is given out. So if someone's gonna bring out a taser, and if he takes that taser and he tries to shoot you with it, you should react with the same sort of thing. They have a taser, you tase them, you try to de-escalate it as much as possible. I understand if he had a gun and he points a gun at him, okay, then that's something else that we'd get into a different sort of situation, but it's not. You have someone that's trying to resist arrest, okay, sometimes you got to put him down. You might have to put him in a move. Yeah, you might have to put him in a move and throw him on the ground or whatever, but it's like once you get these guys to the point where they can't do anything, there's no reason to just continuously just hurt them. Yeah, at that point, that's just being malicious, and that's kind of shitty, man.
Man, speaking of which, that totally reminded me of the Jay Pharoah thing. You guys know who Jay Pharoah is, right? He was on SNL for a while, and he's like a great he's good at impersonations. He's really good at impersonations. Recently, TMZ released some footage and also did a little interview with him where he told his story about him jogging out in LA. He had big old headphones, noise canceling headphones on. All of a sudden, a cop comes, and tells him to get down on the ground. And he says, he was like, oh man, whoever's in trouble is going to get in real trouble, And then he realized the cop's coming to him. He thought he was trying to tell him to get out of the way because he had his gun drawn on him. He said as soon as he came up to him, multiple cops came out of the woodworks or whatever, pointing their weapons at him. Told him to spread his arms out like an airplane. He had to follow instructions or whatever. They told him he matched a description of something. I really want to know what that description. I would definitely, I don't know if he did. I'm sure he's probably suing the department. I wouldn't doubt it because he's a celebrity. He probably got something in the works already going for him. But they said he matched a description of somebody. He told them to look him up on Google. You're gonna feel real stupid right now. And they let him go eventually. They handcuffed him and everything. He said they put their knee on his neck. And there's footage of it online. It's just interesting to see the way that police like to deal with people, whether they're the person that they're looking for or not. That's so insane to me that just because you match a description that you can get treated like that. And I'm sure that's not legal, but I don't know why cops feel the need to go that route. Interesting enough too, I just recently seen a video. I don't know if it's old or if it's new, but it was an interesting video. And this happens a lot too with cops, when your rights, for real, and you can quote stuff or say stuff and you're filming them or whatever. So this dude it was a black dude. He was walking next to some building or whatever. And he was open carrying or whatever, and I forget, I don't know what state it was, but I guess that's legal or whatever, right? So the cop comes, and pretty much every time the cop said something, he would say, I'm pretty sure, or he would say policy, and he would be like, okay, policy, that's not law, stuff like that. And he was correcting him, and he was like, He's like, I need you to know for sure. I don't need you to be pretty sure. I need you to know for sure because you're about to violate my rights here. That's what you're doing. Stuff like that. Told the guy, you need to identify yourself because you're in uniform. So give me your name. And there's another guy talking to him, and he's like, you're being irrational, so I'm just gonna go away or whatever. And he's like, because I'm not doing anything wrong. You guys, there's a bunch of you guys here for no reason. One of the guys literally had his hands on his weapon. I doubt the other guy had his hands on his weapon, the guy that was recording, just because he would be asking for it at that point or give an excuse, easily give an excuse. Oh, he had his hand on his gun or whatever. He's trying to shoot at the place. They were basically saying that they stopped him or whatever because it's unusual for somebody to be walking next to the county building or something like that with a firearm. And I was just like, well, if it's an open carry, it shouldn't matter. I've never understood why cops react that way. If you live in an open carry state, they're exercising their right. If you don't know that, then why are you a cop? You know what I mean? Like, I guess you don't need to know the laws. That's for the lawyer to know. But if you would like to get your cases closed and actually put people in jail, it probably behooves you to know the law as well as enforcing the law, But they letting anybody into the academy these days because I didn't see some bum fucks get the fuck in the academy, and I'm just waiting to see on Facebook, oh, look at this guy fucking shot somebody in the head because he was scared or because he had fucking terrible training. And I'm going to be like, damn, I was in the army with that guy. That's crazy, right?
I can't wait to join the academy, man. I'm working on my sound effects and everything.
Oh my God. Police Academy 5, huh?
There you go. Pull over.
Oh my God. Sound like a whole task force all by yourself.
Yeah, I could make it sound like a whole episode of Cops, and when they're chasing you in the woods, don't you run from me! Get on the ground!
Speaking of which, after however many long years, 20 years or something like that, Cops is out of here, guys. Cops is done. We ain't fucking with Cops no more. I'm curious as to how this is going to affect the Reno 911 comeback, because that show is hilarious. But Cops is out of here, man. And apparently Paw Patrol got canceled too.
Dang, so no Bad Boys 4?
I guess not, man.
Oh, man.
Unless they're going to talk about Black Lives Matter in the movie. We ain't going to get no Bad Boys 4.
But they're black.
Something else actually happened in cartoons this week too. That was interesting. Nickelodeon announced that SpongeBob, who is an asexual character, is gay.
I mean, this has been a joke for a long time. I'm not surprised at all. This has been the joke since I was in like 6th, 7th grade, bro. Like, I'm like, oh, he's gay. He's got the what? Well, I'm not gonna typecast
the rainbow like that. Imagination.
I was trying to avoid going down that road, but yeah, there's definitely been a joke in a lot of circles. Oh yeah, that SpongeBob is gay. He never has a love interest ever in the show, from what I could remember as a kid, and he's always with Patrick or Squidward. He's always at work, So this is kind of like, So
he should have been beating in Sandy's cheeks.
Whoa.
Oh man, I've always been curious about that too. Why Sandy wasn't like a love interest for SpongeBob and just like a friend or whatever. And like somebody else brought up the fact that I knew SpongeBob was gay because when he tried to raise the clam with Patrick, and he was the mom and Patrick was the dad. Wow. And I was like, damn, like we were kids when that happened, but we grown now putting 2 and 2 together, huh? But yeah, shit's crazy out here now, man. I don't really got nothing else because I'm gonna make this clear real quick because we're pretty much out of time anyways. But I want to just say this is the last time I'm gonna bring up this Tekashi 6ix9ine shit, right? Just because I'm tired of it and I don't see an end to it inside, unfortunately. But I refuse to make this noteworthy for anymore. This is the last time I'm gonna talk about him. Anyways, Tekashi 6ix9ine and Nicki Minaj, they released a new song called. They decided to go on IG Live and where they both basically call out a bunch of rappers saying that they pick and choose when they want to live by the code or whatever. Nicki Minaj called a bunch of rappers fake. Tekashi 6ix9ine went out his way to say that rappers such as Meek Mill, Jay-Z, and others were working with informants, and which means technically that they do mess with snitches or that they advocate snitching or whatever, especially if you have somebody in your circle doing that. I don't know that it's really somebody in their circle, but just kind of somebody they work with or whatever. And he's just pointing this out, and He got like 43 million views in a day. He broke the record that Goomba had or whatever. You know, people are still pumping the music up. It's just kind of insane that it's insane. That's it. I don't know if it's like streaming farms. I don't know what it is. It's insane though. It's super crazy, and it makes me scared because there's a hell of a lot going on right now for people to really give a fuck about 6ix9ine. You know, a lot of people have really released some like really profound and powerful songs, including the likes of, you know, Meek Mill. Lil Baby just dropped something that was, you know, pretty enlightening. You know, things like that. Artists of that caliber. So to just hear 6ix9ine come out with Nicki Minaj and just, you know, them do the same little like kind of like smut routine. Nicki Minaj half naked, Tekashi 6ix9ine still sounding like an idiot. It's just kind of like, man, why are we this way? We don't care about black people. We just care about Tekashi 6ix9ine. We don't care about anything enlightening or uplifting. We just want to fuck shit up, you know, kill people, buy shit, fuck school. It's all your fault, Tyler. Damn. It's just a lot to handle, I guess, right now, and I'm tired, man. I'm like exhausted with America right now. Super exhausted. Right, that's about it though. I don't got nothing else unless you guys have something.
I think that's about it for me, man.
Oh shit, did he get kicked?
It looks like it.
Oh, what the fuck? Well, I mean, I guess since Daniel's gone. All right, Piglets, this has been another installment of Culture by the Uncultured. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. For real, we need more followers. Spread the word. Share it with your friends. That's going to be at Culture by the Uncultured. Remember, Piglets, Culture by the Uncultured is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. We hope everyone out there is staying safe, and if you can't be safe, be deadly. Catch you guys next time. Peace out, guys.